So I had a subscriber that asked a question. I thought it was an absolutely brilliant question. He said, is it ever okay for private security guards to break the rules in order to gain compliance? I'm kind of generalizing what he was talking about. And specifically, he was talking about talking in a way to people on the street that kind of ingratiates you to them. So whether that's a homeless person, a drug addict, someone who's living in a more urban environment, is it ever okay to speak like the people that you're interacting with? Now, I 100% understand where you're coming from and what you're getting at. And to a degree, I kind of agree with you. My only thing is I want to caution you that although I understand where you're coming from, and I think most people who work in law enforcement, security, who work in a correction setting understand where you're coming from, the average person doesn't. And they're not going to take the time to have you articulate or explain why you're talking the way that you're talking or saying the things that you're saying. You have to remember that the bystander, the person that's walking by, the person that's sitting in their car having their lunch 2 or 3 doors down, the little old lady who's filming outside of her apartment bedroom window, they don't know that you're trying to gain compliance by ingratiating yourself in a certain way. They just know that what you're saying and what you're doing might not come across as professional. You have to always remember that you're not just representing yourself as an officer, you're representing the company that ultimately signs your checks, and you're representing the industry. I guess my answer to you would be, of course you can do that, but at what cost? Is it worth what it might cost you? And at the end of the day, if you ingratiate yourself too good enough with people, it can really hinder your career. I'll leave you guys with this. We, at one of the locations where I was working last year, we had a Allied Universal Guard. So we had a loss prevention team. This was a retail establishment. The company that I worked for, we did the hands-on armed security. And then we had outdoor security that was provided by Allied Universal. The Allied Universal Security Guard, their only job was to simply walk around the perimeter of the building, make sure people, weren't loitering, make sure people weren't doing drugs on the property. This person ended up hanging out with the homeless people, hanging out with the drug people while they were on duty, and became a drug addict. Like literally got turned out and became a part of the drug game and ended up quitting their job, posting up right outside where they normally would work and doing drugs with the same people that they were initially there to keep off of property. So, that would be the ultimate ingratiating yourself with that community. And that wasn't good for her. It wasn't a good look for security. And ultimately it didn't end up good for anybody. So keep that in mind.